Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be talking about my BMW 1 Series, and I'm going to be showing you a few things to look out for when deciding to buy one of these cars. Now let's get into it. Welcome to my 2005 BMW 130i. Now the first thing that I would recommend looking out for when deciding to buy one of these cars is actually something that I didn't pay too much attention to myself, and that is bodywork. Now it's pretty fair to say that the bodywork on this thing may look good from a distance, but up close it is absolutely shocking. So let's take a look at probably the worst area on the car, and that is this rear quarter here. So I am almost certain that this has had some bodywork done in the past, and the paint is pretty close to flaking off. Now I don't know if this has a bunch of filler behind it, but you know, having a look right up here, you can see the paint is starting to crack all over, and this runs into the door as well. And if you actually lift up this door seal, you can see some places that have not been painted. There are some white spots and all the rest of it. So yeah, like the paintwork on this thing really is quite shocking. I mean, we'll have a look at some parts on the rear bumper, some small dings. We can see that the lacquer is all scratched up. And then let's take a look at the front bumper. Like, this front bumper is absolutely shocking. Similar story to the rear quarter. This has had some poor paintwork done in the past, and you can see it's already chipping away. Now the reason that I have mentioned bodywork first with regard to the things that you need to look out for when buying one of these cars is because it's probably the most expensive thing to put right if it is wrong. I mean, to get this thing looking nice, it really is going to require a full respray, and for a full respray we are talking thousands of pounds, not hundreds. So please do check the bodywork on the car that you're going to view. Make sure it has, you know, straight body panels. Make sure it hasn't had any repair work done in the past. If it has had some repair work done in the past, ask the owner about it. You know, ask what happened. Ask, you know, did they go to a reputable paint shop, things like that. Make sure that you really do know what you're getting yourself into. Now the next thing that you want to check when buying one of these cars is the engine, of course. Now I'm not going to talk about specific engines, but some things that you may want to consider looking out for is sludge buildup inside of the engine. So if you just go ahead and remove the oil filler cap, take a look down inside there. Can you see a lot of sludge buildup? Is there a connection between the amount of sludge buildup and the service history? Do we have something like a timing chain rattle upon startup? Do we have any existing oil leaks? These are all things that you need to check before buying one of these cars. The next thing then is suspension. So is the car sitting lower on one side, which could indicate something like a snapped spring. Now if you have access, you can physically see the condition of the springs. Take a look at the shocks. Do any of them look like they may be leaking? And of course, take the car for a test drive. Does it handle well? Does it handle how you would expect for the mileage that it has done? Now bear in mind, if you are getting into a BMW 1 Series that is 10-15 years old or so, chances are the suspension is going to be pretty tired, so it may be something that you look at replacing shortly after you buy anyway, so it's just something to consider. The next thing that you want to check then is tyre wear. Now I'm not talking tread depth, I'm talking about the wear pattern on the tyres themselves. So let's say for example you notice that the rear tyres are wearing much more on the inside. This could be because the camber is way out and it has not had a wheel alignment done for some time. So if your tyres are looking like mine and they do have an even wear pattern across the whole tyre, then it means that your alignment is usually pretty good. And while we are down here, let's talk about rust. So as you can see, the rear subframe there is absolutely covered in surface rust. It is steel, it is a common problem for these two rusts, so make sure that you don't have any cracks, make sure it is still solid, and yeah, it's definitely something to consider repairing in the future, because like I said, it is a pretty common problem and there really is no way around it. ideally this needs to be removed, taken right down to the bare metal and then coated again. The next thing you want to check on these cars then, and it is going to depend if you check a 2-door or a 4-door like this one, and that is the door brakes or check straps, whatever you want to call them, but these things right here. Now these should hold the door in 2 positions. So fully wide open, and that position right there, and then they should obviously close. If you open the door and you notice that the door does not hold, chances are those door brakes are shot. Now when I bought my car, I noticed that all 4 of the door brakes were completely shot, so I have went ahead and replaced all of them. The next thing you definitely want to check on these cars is the front bumper. So if yours looks like mine, as you can see, it is sagging down quite a bit on the bottom. There's a good chance that the car has either driven over something or it has been driven off of a high curb and it is caught on the bottom there. And you'll know if it has because there will be quite a few scrapes along the front. Now another thing that you definitely want to check, and this is something that you can do inside of the car, and it is the battery voltage, both when the engine is not on and when the engine is on. So when the engine is not on, when the engine is not running I should say, you want to have your battery voltage at 12 volts. When your engine is running, you want to be sitting at 14 volts. This is going to be a good indicator that your battery and your alternator are working as they should. So I like to have with me in the car one of these USB chargers, but it also couples up as a voltmeter. So all you need to do is plug this into the 12 volt charger socket, and then if we go ahead and switch the ignition on, and we should have 12 volts. Which, yes we do, 12.1, perfect. Then if we go ahead and turn the engine on, we should start to see this number rising, and that's right about where we want it. Now a few of the small things that you can check when you are in the car, this is things like your washer jets. Make sure they are both working and make sure you have an even pattern, an even spray, because you don't want the washer jets themselves to be blocked up. Also, it is a pretty common problem for the pump to be blocked up as well, so make sure the washer jets are definitely working. Of course, make sure all of the lights are working, put all the headlights on, put the fog lights on, put the hazards on, make sure every bulb is working on the exterior, and also make sure all of the interior bulbs are working as well. But with that, that is pretty much it. Those are the main things that I would recommend checking when looking at buying one of these cars. Obviously, you can go ahead, you can check the tire tread depth, you can check the brake discs and brake pads, but those are really, you know, consumables. Those are things that, you know, do wear and that you will have to replace at some point anyway. So I really would not spend too much time concentrating on those things. Obviously, you want to look at the most expensive things that, you know, shouldn't be worn or, you know, shouldn't have damage to them, like your bodywork, like your engine, things like that. Look at the most important things, and then if you want at the end, yeah, go ahead and check over your consumables and maybe look at a way of maybe, you know, use that as a way to negotiate some money off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace.